CBS Television Sports presents Live and in Color from the Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia, the final round of the 1968 Masters Tournament.
The view from the clubhouse at the Augusta National Golf Club. And this is the sight the golfers see as they walk up toward the 18th green in quest of one of the most treasured trophies in golf, the green jacket symbolic of the Masters Championship. Augusta National is always in immaculate condition with the many flowers. This is Roberto De Vicenzo at 15. That is his third shot. He is the leader of this tournament, and he is 10 under par. De Vicenzo, as we said, 10 under par. Bert Yancey, who's now on the 18th green, 9 under. Bob Goalby, just completed 13, also 9 under. Bruce Devlin, 8 under. Miller Barber, 7 under with Gary Player. Lionel Hebert, 6 under with Jerry Pittman, Jack Nicklaus, and Raymond Floyd, also 6 under. It has been, as you can tell, very, very exciting. This is Harold Henning at 18. And this is Bert Yancey's attempt at a par. He is 9 under. Yancey has birdied 16 and 17, back-to-back, to move just one shot from the lead. He is 7 under for today's round. This would give him a 65. That is a par for Bert Yancey, and he finishes the 4th and final round at the Masters, 9 under par. A fine 67 for him today. Now let's go to 15 and John Durr.
This putt for Roberto De Vicenzo for a birdie, a putt of about 10 feet. He was in the bunker, came out and ran a little strong, and he's about 10 feet by. Roberto, who electrified this crowd today with an eagle on the very first hole of play, followed with birdies on the 2nd and 3rd, and has now moved 10 under. So 11 under, and a lead that was 1 stroke now becomes a 2-stroke lead for Roberto De Vicenzo, celebrating his birthday here this Masters Sunday in Augusta. Walks from the 15th. And now at this moment in the 4th round of the 1968 Masters, the leader is Roberto De Vicenzo at 11 under par.
Working with us again, as you look at Roberto De Vicenzo on the right of your screen, working with us again is a former winner of this Masters Championship, Dr. Kerry Middlecoff. And Doctor, what about that putt that Roberto just made?
Well, Pat, he just put the load really on the back of the players behind him, and I just couldn't be more important. And now let's go out to 16 and Henry Longhurst.
Here's the scene on the tee. Tommy Aaron 6 under, Roberto 11 under. There's Tommy Aaron there, 6 under. Starts out a bit to the right, may not reach the hole, safely on the green, perhaps 45 feet short. And now Every moment counting now. Possibly the great day in Roberto's life. Everybody loves Roberto. That starts out to the right and won't come back. Maybe in the bunker, may carry it, and it just carries the first bunker, leaves him an extraordinarily difficult little pitch of about 20 yards over the fringe of the green. And now to 14.
Here at the 14th, Bob Goalby. Goalby now 9 under par. Working with me here at 14, Byron Nelson. This is Jay Randolph. And Byron, he's going to use the Texas wedge from off the edge.
Yes, he's just only about 20, 25 feet from the hole, putting a little uphill just off the fringe. We've seen quite a few made from this very spot today.
Here at the 14th, this 420-yard par 4, Goalby now 10 under par, 1 shot back of Roberto De Vicenzo. A superb 3 for Bob Goalby. Ray Floyd, 6 under par, putting for his 4. Ray Floyd remains at 6 under. Both men birdied the 13th, and Goalby with the birdie here at 14, now 10 under par. Coming up the 14th, in the black, Gary Player and Frank Beard. Beard had a fine 65 here on Friday. Frank Beard is 5 under par. Gary Player at 7 under. Let's go now to 16.
And back to this terribly difficult shot of Roberto De Vicenzo. Only about 20 yards, but 2/3 of it is rough stuff. Pitched on the short rough, and is a truly wonderful shot. And it leaves him perhaps 2 feet from the hole. He might play it 10 times again and not get it as near as that. Vicenzo, 11 under. One ahead now of Goalby. Now to 14.
Gary Player, the leader in this tournament after 3 rounds at 210. His second shot, it's a big drive, Byron.
Very large drive. He's only 135 yards from this green, 420-yard hole.
And Gary Player has hit a dandy shot here about 12 feet back of the hole. Player in 1961 won this tournament. There is Bruce Devlin at the 13th. The 475-yard par 5, the famed Azalea hole here at the Augusta National. Devlin will be going for an eagle 3. Let's first of all go to the 16th.
And here, Vicenzo always consults with his caddy about the line of putts, however short. This one's only about 2 feet. If he has an Achilles heel in golf, this is it. He sometimes misses them. That's safely in the middle for Roberto De Vicenzo, and he leaves the 16th green, the leader still by 1, 11 under par. And now back to 14.
Where we have Gary Player and Frank Beard coming to the green. Player will have a birdie try that would put him 8 under par. Beard is just over the back edge in the fringe.
Just exactly where Goalby was, that just previously made that wonderful 3.
The pin today set to the back right of this 14th green, and Frank Beard is just about 18 feet from the pin. This hole has given up very, very few birdies, only 5 yesterday. And Byron, I suppose today we've seen the fellows have more success with it than possibly any day so far in the tournament.
Yes, no doubt about it. The pin is just an ideal place if you drive the ball well. The boys drove in the trees a lot to the left yesterday, and today they have not.
Frank Beard's try for the birdie sliding by, and you're looking now at 13. Bruce Devlin from about 60 feet away. His try for the eagle. And Devlin has left it considerably short of the hole here. He'll have that for a birdie, which would put him at 9 under par. Let's go now to the 17th.
This is Frank Gleber at the 17th. Tommy Aaron is just at his tee shot right down the middle. And Roberto De Vicenzo is up next. He is in excellent shape, well over the crest of the hill and probably close to 300 yards down the fairway. Let's go to 14.
Where Gary Player takes a look at his 12-footer. Byron, this putt is downhill.
The green is not fast, though, and it will break a little to Gary's left.
Hit the hole and bounds away. Bruce Devlin, his birdie try at the 13th. Devlin just missing. Let's go to 15.
Bob Goalby's second shot. This par 5 hole, and Goalby has hit onto the green, runs up, and he is about 8 feet, 9 feet away from the hole. A chance for an eagle for Bob Goalby, a superb second shot. And so at this moment in the 4th round of the 1968 Masters, the leader is Roberto De Vicenzo at 11 under par.
Let's go quickly now to Kerry Middlecoff.
Well, Pat, we've just got more golf tournament than I can stand. Here at 17, Roberto De Vicenzo, after the great birdie at 15 and great par at 16, hit a tremendous drive in the exact center of the fairway, and I don't think we'll have more than a small 9-iron to the green. Then Bob Goalby, who is chasing him after at least a 300-yard drive, looked as though he hit about a 4-iron, and he is only about 8 or 9 or 10 feet from the hole, putting for an eagle 3. And now let's go back out to 15.
This is Goalby walking on the green. Raymond Floyd, also on the green in 2, will have the first crack at an eagle here. But Floyd is on the front portion of the green and about 30, probably 35 feet away. Goalby marking his ball, and we go quickly to 17.
De Vicenzo ready to hit his second shot at 17. He bogeyed this hole yesterday. One of 12 players to bogey it. It's played a little easier today. Beautiful shot, 4 feet away from a birdie for Roberto De Vicenzo. Intricate pin placement here on 17 on a rise in the upper back right portion of the green. And he pinpointed it perfectly. No one has been closer on this hole today. Let's go to 15.
Raymond Floyd continuing to work on the green there in front of his ball. Raymond is 6 under par, and he eagled this hole yesterday. He had a putt of about 10 or 12 feet for his 3 and rolled it right into the cup. Today he is 3 times that far from the hole, but also going for an eagle. With De Vicenzo close at 17 and Bob Goalby 1 stroke behind, close here at 15. We're down to the exciting moments of this Masters tournament. Raymond Floyd trying for an eagle on 15. Two and a half feet, perhaps, and over to 18.
At the second shot of Jack Nicklaus. Just on the left side of the green for Jack Nicklaus. Now quickly back to 15.
Floyd's try for the birdie. Skims around the back again. That puts him 7 under par. And now comes the moment, though. The man who is chasing Roberto De Vicenzo on his birthday here, Bob Goalby. Bob Goalby from no more than 9 feet. A try for an eagle. The situation is that Goalby is 10 under par. De Vicenzo is 11 under and is in position to go another under at 17. Goalby, by sinking an eagle here, of course, could go 12 under. It's a moment of extreme tension at the Goalby is staging a comeback in this tournament. He has not played particularly well this year. Did have a good year last year. Made a birdie on the 13th and then a most spectacular birdie on 14, and now trying for an eagle here on 15. At 17, we see now Roberto De Vicenzo trying for a birdie at 17. We'll be trying for an eagle. De Vicenzo got it. Simultaneous putts that put them each 12 under par. Roberto De Vicenzo at 17 and Bob Goalby at 15 at almost the exact same moment. So 12 under par. Goalby walking now down the trail over to the 16th tee. And now to 18.
For the tee shot of the co-leader of this 1968 Masters, Roberto De Vicenzo. De Vicenzo's drive in a perfect position. They try to keep the ball to the right side, away from the traps on the left of your screen and not too close to those trees. And this is Tommy Aaron, 6 under par. Aaron, who is 6 under, has never won a major tournament. And Aaron, too, with a perfect drive. Third shot of Jack Nicklaus. Nicklaus almost put himself 8 under. Back quickly now to 16.
And here is Goalby. 12 under. Well, we have time for a very quick comment from Byron Nelson. Byron, if you were in his position now, equal level, leading the field, would you go for the flag?
I certainly would. I'd throw it right up the middle of that green.
Bob Goalby. Little to the left. Perfectly safe. And as Byron Nelson said, right in the middle of the green, and he leaves himself about 30 feet, not terribly happy with it. Exactly the right club for Goalby, dead level with the flag, about 30 feet to the left. Floyd, himself 7 under, even so 5 behind Goalby and De Vicenzo. Vicenzo at this moment on the 18th. Just to the right of the flag, maybe too far, and it is. He took one club too big and is in the bunker at the back behind the flag. Ray Floyd. And now to 18.
This is the co-leader, Roberto De Vicenzo, who is 12 under par. He is also 8 under for today's round and who could tie the course record of 64. He hit a perfect tee shot. Quickly now to Kerry Middlecoff.
Well, Pat, Roberto De Vicenzo, I think, drove with a 3-wood. He's about even with this first bunker and in perfect position. Aaron also hit a wonderful drive and, of course, up almost past the last bunker. And now let's go back to you, Pat.
De Vicenzo looking toward the 18th green. And his playing partner, Tommy Aaron, who's 6 under. This is what De Vicenzo has facing him. He has to carry over the trap. And he will have a tough shot He was long, the ball carried over the green and into the gallery to the left of the green. And he badly needs a par. So at this moment, at the final round of the 1968 Masters, the leaders are Roberto De Vicenzo and Bob Goalby. Roberto De Vicenzo is in trouble at the 18th. Aaron has just hit a beautiful shot, and he'll have an excellent shot at a birdie to put himself 7 under. This is the current leader of the tournament, along with Bob Goalby at 12 under par, but he has a tough shot facing him. What a birthday present this would be, a Masters championship. He is the defending British Open champion. Now listen. Very, very popular gentleman. If he pars here, he ties the course record held by Jack Nicklaus and Lloyd Mangum. Let's go now quickly to 15.
Gary Players try for the eagle. And at 16, Goalby is trying for a 2. Players' birdie goes just, eagle goes just by the hole, and there is Goalby's effort right at it. Player finished out with his birdie on 15 and goes 8 under par. And Goalby pars the 16th to remain 12 under. And now over to 18.
Roberto De Vicenzo in real trouble. They have moved the gallery back to give him a shot from underneath the tower back in that crowd. Not too much green to shoot at. I believe he has the putter. He did putt it. He hit a great shot. But he still has a very, very difficult putt. And he needs this par desperately. He's tied with Bob Goalby. And he will take a long look at this one. Tommy Aaron will putt first. Aaron is 6 under par. And this is for a birdie. Just by. Aaron will mark his ball, and De Vicenzo with the biggest putt of his life. He tied the course record on the front 9 today with a 31. Record held by Dr. Kerry Middlecoff, set in 1955. Roberto always confers with that caddy. And this is for par. back to 11 under and falls one shot out of the lead. A very, very fine 65 today for Roberto De Vicenzo. Very gracious Argentinian. Let's go down to 15.
Bruce Devlin, who is 8 under par, about to hit his second shot. Devlin, 8 under. And he had the misfortune earlier of having a quadruple bogey. He is over the green, just off the back of the green, about 8 feet. So Devlin is to the back of the 15th. And so at this moment in the 4th round of the 1968 Masters, the leaders are the leader is Bob Goalby at 12 under par.
You are looking down at the Augusta National Golf Club. Bob Goalby by himself leads the 1968 Masters. He is 12 under par. Roberto De Vicenzo came to 18 tied with Goalby, and he bogeyed. Roberto has just signed his scorecard, and he has gotten a tremendous round of applause from this most courteous gallery at the Augusta National. Now to 17.
The tension is electric here at 17 as Bob Goalby and Ray Floyd look over their second shots. Goalby has hit his tee shot to the far right-hand side of the fairway in the area of a pair of twin pine trees about 250 yards from the tee. In front of those twin pine trees are 3 large earthen mounds which will serve to restrict Goalby's vision between the point of his ball and also the green. At the most, he can probably see the very top of the flag from the position his ball is in. Kerry Middlecoff, this is a problem shot of some sorts, no doubt.
Well, it's certainly a problem. It's hard to tell, Frank, what kind of a vision he's got. If he has a free swing, and I understand he's in this area, if he has a free swing where his club won't hit these trees, he should be able to get the ball somewhere on the green. Now back to 17.
He's a little beyond the trees, so he should have at least that free swing. He's in the area of that first mound. He is on the far left-hand side of the green and has a long, long putt for a possible bird, but he should be able to get down into from here. Obviously, he feels pretty good about it. Ray Floyd now on the opposite side of the fairway, ready to hit his second shot. Floyd is at a fine second shot. He is perhaps 12 to 15 feet away from the pin. Let's go to 18.
One of the fine young players, Lee Trevino. He has hit an excellent shot. Trevino is 4 over. But the question in everybody's mind right now is whether or not Bob Goalby, this is Miller Barber, who is 5 under. Miller opened with a 75 the first day, then has played 69 and 68. Let's go quickly out to 15 now.
Don January eagled this hole the second round, and he's trying for another one right now in the 4th round. He's 4 under par. Well, he'll have to settle for one eagle here for this 68 Masters. He's 2.5 feet by. Bruce Devlin, a moment ago, almost chipped in for his eagle. The ball hit the back of the cup and spun out, and Bruce gave quite a demonstration to the gallery around here of his aggravated anger at having missed it. Birdie try. January gets it down, goes 5 under. And now over to 17.
Where Bob Goalby is studying a putt that will measure between 60 to 65 feet from the hole. Now that pin is cut in a rise in the upper right-hand portion of the green. He is in a lower section and will have to come uphill. This will be his third shot at this par 4, 400-yard 17th at Augusta National. Goalby leading this tournament by 1 shot over Roberto De Vicenzo, who has finished his round. Bob has never finished high in the Masters. Back in 1964, he led at the end of 18 holes. But that has been the only dent he has made in this most prestigious of all tournaments. Studying this putt from every conceivable angle. A difficult one, uphill. This would be for a birdie 3. He leaves himself a putt of about 4 feet, as we call in Byron Nelson.
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, that this putt is really one of the toughest putts that he'll ever have to make in his life. This little thing is still uphill, and the green is coming from his left, which means that that putt's going to go off to the right. From where he putted from, it's tough to get the ball down in 2. This little putt here is the kind we call knee knockers, and certainly with the pressure he has here, I'm sure that he already knows what happened to Roberto on the last hole.
If he makes it, he retains his lead. If he doesn't, we're tied again. A bogey 5 for Bob Goalby on 17, and so he drops back into a tie for first place in the tournament with Roberto De Vicenzo at 12 under par. He just might have given Roberto De Vicenzo his biggest birthday present ever. Now Ray Floyd studying his putt. He is -6 for the tournament, tied for 8th in 1966, 25 years old. Bob Goalby, Roberto De Vicenzo now -11. Floyd has got about 12 to 15 feet for a possible birdie on 17. Gallery completely encircling the 17th hole. Raymond Floyd leaves it inches away and will tap it in for his par 4, so he'll remain at 6 under par for the tournament. Now let's go to 18.
So, as Bob Goalby heads for the 18th tee, you get a look at some of the magnificent gallery and this magnificent golf course here at Augusta, Georgia. Now let's go to Kerry Middlecoff.
Well, Pat, I think that Bob Goalby is now confronted with a decision he'd rather not have, and that is whether to play short of these traps and try to make a sure 4 and get a tie, or whether to take the driver, try to drive in this area, and maybe lose the tournament. And I know that Bob would have liked to have made that putt and not had to make the decision.
And you can see Bob Goalby with his back to you, Ray Floyd on your right. And he's taking a good long look at this 18th fairway. In case this tournament should end in a tie, as it stands right now, between Bob Goalby and Roberto De Vicenzo, the winner will be decided in an 18-hole playoff tomorrow. Ray Floyd's tee shot. And Floyd has hit a tremendous tee shot. Just to the right of that trap. And now the drive of Bob Goalby. As I was saying a minute ago, in case there is Roberto De Vicenzo waiting around the scoring table at the 18th green and still thinking about his putt at 18. This is a 3-wood that Bob Goalby is using. He'll try to play short of those traps. Goalby drove his ball into the woods on the right side of the fairway, hit a tree, and came all the way back down the fairway. And he faces a very, very difficult second shot. And Roberto De Vicenzo might, just might, be getting the greatest birthday present of his life. Goalby has a tough shot coming up. So at this moment, at the final round, we'll be back with more action at the 1968 Masters following station identification. Bob Goalby, tied for the lead in the 1968 Masters, has put his tee shot into the woods, hit a tree, and bounced back into the fairway. He is tied with Roberto De Vicenzo at this moment, but faces a very, very difficult shot. What kind of shot, Kerry Middlecoff?
Well, Pat, first of all, I think he could have gotten a worse break. He could have jumped out in the woods. He could have jumped forward, but as it is, I think he has an open shot, but it's at least 210 yards. It's blind, and I would say a 2-iron or a 4-wood.
In case this tournament does end in a tie, the winner will be decided tomorrow in an 18-hole playoff, in which event CBS will bring you the final holes of Monday's playoff at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And be sure you stay with us today, immediately after the final round is completed, for the informal presentation. Bob Goalby came up the 18th fairway, took a look at the green, and now he's going back to where his ball bounced off that tree. At the moment, Bob Goalby and Roberto De Vicenzo are tied. The look on his face tells you just how much the Masters Championship means. This is Goalby's shot to the 18th green. He is using an iron. Undecided. Another indication of how much this means. looks good. A fine second shot by Bob Goalby, but he has a tough putt coming back downhill. Putt of approximately 55, 60 feet. And there's the man with whom he is tied at this moment. A look down the 18th fairway. Here is Raymond Floyd, who is 6 under for the tournament. And his second shot coming up.
Go get it. Go get it, man. Run it in there, Bob.
Excellent shot by Ray Floyd.
Out of the right about.
Kerry, what sort of putt does Bob Goalby have now? I realize it's downhill, but what else?
Well, it's a tremendous break from right to left at the beginning of the putt, Pat, and then it may tail off and actually go some more to the right, but it's basically speed. Or rather, I'm wrong. It's a left to right putt at first and then breaks back to the left.
Very difficult. And listen to the tremendous round of applause for Bob Goalby. Standing ovation, as they did give to Roberto De Vicenzo just a few minutes ago. Goalby has been fairly inactive of late. He's had a bad elbow, which he injured, of all things, throwing a football left-handed. He was a quarterback at the University of Illinois. And there is Roberto De Vicenzo. Goalby faces, as Dr. Middlecoff said just a minute ago, an extremely difficult putt. He needs a par. He lies 2. In case he gets that par, remember that CBS will bring you the 18-hole playoff tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Speed is his main concern. There are 2 breaks. That is not an easy putt he's left himself. And the man with whom he is tied looks on. Ray Floyd asking for quiet. Goalby is asking for help, advice, I should say, from Ray Floyd. That distance stands between a playoff tomorrow and a championship for Roberto De Vicenzo. Goalby just repaired the ball mark. That has to be one of the great clutch putts of all time. And those two, that is Roberto De Vicenzo. And he and Bob Goalby finish the fourth round in the 1968 Masters tied 11 under par. This is Ray Floyd's attempt at a birdie. He is 6 under. Floyd has had a fine tournament. Opening day 71, 71 the second day, and a 69 yesterday. There are the two members. The two leaders. Ray Floyd, just by. We will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the 18-hole playoff. At the moment, it will be between Bob Goalby and Roberto De Vicenzo. And stay tuned and stay with us immediately following for an interview with the two gentlemen who are tied and the two low amateurs. Here is Gary Player. He's hitting his second shot at 18, and he too wants to change clubs. Quickly to 17 now.
Bruce Devlin putting for a birdie. Leaves it 6 inches short, and we go back to 18.
For the shot up Gary Player. Off to the left side of the green, just almost the same area where Jack Nicklaus was a few minutes ago. So at this moment, at the final round of the 1968 Masters, the leaders are Bob Goalby and Roberto De Vicenzo at 11 under par. In one of the most exciting finishes you will ever see, we have a tie for the leadership in the 1968 Masters between Roberto De Vicenzo and Bob Goalby, and we will broadcast tomorrow, 5 o'clock, the 18-hole playoff between those two. Coming up to 18 now is Gary Player, who led this tournament along with Don January at the end of 2 rounds and led it by himself yesterday. He has birdied this 18th hole the last 2 days. Today, he will have a tough shot for his birdie. The only foreign player ever to win this tournament. He did it in 1961. But Argentinian Roberto De Vicenzo and Bob Goalby will play off tomorrow. They have finished their rounds. Player was 6 under, and as we told you, he led after 3 rounds, so he has only picked up 1 shot today. He is 7 under. He made a tremendous birdie putt here yesterday to take the lead by himself. He is possibly 3.5, 4 feet off the edge of the putting surface. Left it 4 or 5 feet short. Coming up the 18th fairway now is Bruce Devlin, who is 9, who's got dropped back, I'm sorry, to 8 under par. Bert Yancey is 9 under. He has finished his round. And now Frank Beard, who went from a 75 on opening day down to a 65 and made a tremendous run. Beard putting for a birdie now. The rain begins to fall. Beard goes 7 under par with a fine birdie. Fine tournament for Frank Beard. As I said, opening day he had a 75. 71 yesterday. Player is 7 under, and this is for his par, which would leave him then tied with Beard at 7 under, along with Jack Nicklaus. Player slides it by. And he gets it down at 5, and Gary Player finishes the day just like he started it, at 6 under par. Bruce Devlin on the 18th fairway, looking up toward the green for his second shot. With a birdie here, he could tie Bert Yancey for 3rd place. Devlin has played remarkable golf. He had an 8 on the 11th hole the second day and came back. As you think about the golf that Devlin has played, as a matter of fact, if he had parred that hole the second day, the one that he took an 8 on, when he put 2 balls into the water, he could have won this tournament. As it is, he's 8 under, just off the putting surface in front of the green to the right side. This is Don January, preparing to hit his second shot. He was tied for the lead at the end of the second round with Gary Player, and yesterday he was just 1 shot back. As soon as the players have signed their cards, as you look at an excellent shot by Don January, we'll be back with an interview with the two men who are tied for the lead and who will play off tomorrow, starting at 5 o'clock on CBS, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And as soon as they've signed their cards, we'll bring you an interview with Bob Goalby and Roberto De Vicenzo and the two amateurs, the two low amateurs. Defending PGA champion Don January. So at this moment, in the final round of the 1968 Masters, the leaders are Roberto De Vicenzo and Bob Goalby at 11 under par. Bruce Devlin, looking at his third shot. This has been a truly amazing Masters. This man had one of the most amazing rounds and displayed what I think everybody realizes is great courage to come back after taking an 8 on the 11th hole of the second round. And now he's 8 under par. And with this shot, a chance to tie for third. What an event this has been. Devlin left himself about 4 feet for his par to finish 8 under par in 4th place. This is Don January, who was tied for the lead after the second round. There's one of the men tied for the lead, Roberto De Vicenzo. This is Don January. January just misses. Bruce Devlin's putt for a par. This is the final twosome on the course, and be sure you stay with us. There is a possibility we might have something of great importance. Devlin gets his par. As I started to say a minute ago, we may have something of tremendous importance to report to you. This is Roberto De Vicenzo, and there is a possibility there is some problem. There is some question, and we believe it might be the manner in which he signed his scorecard. In any case, he does not look very happy. He finished in a tie with Bob Goalby at 11 under par. But as I said, there is some question. And he definitely does not seem very pleased. Be sure you stay with us for the interview immediately following. And if there is a playoff, and at the moment we have no official word that there will not be, we will bring it to you at 5 o'clock tomorrow. As we told you, there's a problem, and we think it is with the way Roberto De Vicenzo signed his scorecard. That is not confirmed. but we will bring you word on that as soon as it is available to us. It has been a fantastic Masters tournament. De Vicenzo was 12 under par. You got to look at Bob Goalby now, preparing for the interview. De Vicenzo was 12 under. He bogeyed 18. Goalby had eagled 15. Then he bogeyed 17. So they both came up to 11 under par. We hope to bring you an explanation of what the difficulty is as soon as we can. Now, let's go to Frank Gifford.
And Pat, I'd like to have you now meet one of the great gentlemen of the game of golf, the general chairman of the Masters Golf Tournament, Mr. Clifford Roberts. Mr. Roberts?
Good afternoon. I'm going to talk a little bit longer than usual because Roberto De Vicenzo has not arrived here as yet. Is he on his way? Yes, sir. First of all, I bring you greetings from Bob Jones, the president of the Augusta National. Bob has been here all week, as usual, helping to conduct the operations of this tournament. He doesn't feel quite up to par today, however, and has asked to be excused from presiding at this little TV informal ceremony. I'm therefore, with Bob's approval, going to call on our good friend, Mr. John Winters from Tulsa, Oklahoma, a longtime member of our club and a longtime member of the Masters Tournament organization. And John, if you will now please take over, I'll be ever so much obliged to you.
Thank you, Clifford. I think that another Masters tournament has been concluded in the tradition that something different always happens at the Masters. I think this year is significant in that two things happened. First, on the third day's play, there were 11 very fine players who were within 3 strokes of each other. Therefore, any good player who got it going could be the winner. The second unusual thing, and it is a thing that brings great distress to me, we thought at first that we had a tie in the tournament. And unfortunately, Roberto, on the 17th hole, where he had a very fine birdie, inadvertently returned his score as 4 for that hole, and under the rules of golf, we can't do anything but accept that as a 4. Therefore, instead of a tie in the tournament, Bob Goalby is a winner, and Roberto is the runner-up. It's a thing that we regret, but when we say we're going to play under the rules of golf, we have no choice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a young amateur come into this tournament for the very first time. And I think that formally we would say his name is Marvin Giles III. But he has endeared himself to all the gallery and people around here so that they're always going to know him as Vinny. And it is congratulations, Vinny, on being the low amateur in the tournament. It's your first Masters, and I think that when you shoot a score of even par for the 4 rounds in this tournament, that you have done remarkably well. I congratulate you. Now then, is there any particular hole or anything during the tournament that you remember more than anything else?
Well, I think it's as much as anything, just the experience and the thrill of being here. I know it's the greatest experience I've ever had with my golf, and it's just been a wonderful pleasure to be here. You remember, I think, all the holes. I don't think I'll forget very many shots ever. But I just want to thank Mr. Roberts and Mr. Jones and everyone else here at the National. And I just hope that one of these days I can return and play again.
Well, I'll say this, Benny, you were the runner-up in the National Amateur last year, and you've demonstrated a quality of game that you may be the hope that we're looking for, as being the amateur to win this tournament someday. Good luck to you, and I hope that you continue to play well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Winter.
Roberto, due to the circumstances, this is not a very happy birthday present. And I understand it is your birthday.
Right, sir.
And, but I think that you played marvelously well, and if I ever saw any man wonderfully appreciated by the galleries, you were. And actually, I'm not going to be very happy about walking out of this room and having to tell exactly what happened. But I know that during the tournament, there's some of the things that happened that may have impressed you. You might have thought of a shot that you could have made better, or one that was outstanding. Now, I know the first hole today was a great thrill to start on, but would you like to comment any upon the course and the play?
Well, I want to say I can't forget two things today. I can't forget what I do in the first hole and what I do in the last hole. I am professional for many years, and I never think what stupid I am, because when you play in the tournament, you have to check the scorecard very carefully. And I make a wrong thing today, and just I look the scorecard and I tell the truth. I don't see anything. I don't see any numbers. I feel sorry for myself, and I don't think I got another chance to be so close to win this tournament like this week. But anyway, I want to congratulate to Bobby Goalby to play so good. Maybe Mr. Goalby is fault because I make a wrong thing in the scorecard. He gave me so much pressure in the last hole, on the last few holes, and I lose my brain. But anyway, I'm happy, and I want to congratulate Bob, and I want to say thank you, Mr. Robert. Thank you to give me this invitation to play here, and I want to come back next year.
Can I inject a word here?
Please do.
Bob Jones asked me especially to convey his congratulations to you in case you were the winner, as he thought you were going to be. And he recalls playing a round of golf with you in Buenos Aires 20-odd years ago. And he has been one of your warmest admirers all these many years. And I imagine that Bob and I both are going to be busy trying to figure out some way to have two winners here in place of a winner and a runner-up. In our hearts, we will always regard you as one of the two winners of this tournament, without taking anything away from the new Masters champion.
Well, Roberto, I'd like to say this, that I was quite interested in your remarks. Knowing the sportsman that you are, I wouldn't have expected anything different. And it's unfortunate it turned out that way, but my congratulations on having played splendidly all through the 4 days of the tournament.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, Bob, you kind of came back from nowhere and kept plugging along today, and I saw on television the eagle putt that you made on 15, and that must have given you quite a thrill, didn't it?
Sure did. That was sort of a big boost that I really needed at that point.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you look back on any particular shot well played or shot not so well played that might have made a difference in your game somewhere?
Well, I played halfway decent all week. I had never played well at the Masters, and this is my 9th trip. And I was pleased with my game today and most of this week. And today I seemed to get going about the fifth or sixth hole. I hit a couple of good golf shots, and I just seemed to get a little momentum. And for some reason, I usually get nervous playing golf in the last day, but for some reason, I didn't get too awful nervous today. But I really don't really know what to say, because Roberto's one of my good friends. We've been playing golf for 12, 13 years together, and I really regret what really happened, because seems like it's not really the way to win the golf tournament. I really don't know what to say. I just have to say I'm very sorry, Roberto.
I think we'll all feel that way, but under the circumstances, you are the winner. And I think that now the time has come for the former champion, Gay Brewer, to come forward and put the green coat on you for you join the select circle. Gay, will you come in? My congratulations to you, Bob, and on behalf of the membership of the club, we're tickled to death to see you wearing that coat.
Thank you, Mr. Wieners. Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
We're mighty proud of you.
Thank you. I'd sure like to congratulate you and everybody who did a great job on this
we come to the conclusion of another Masters golf tournament. A great golf tournament as you've just witnessed the Masters. And now back to Pat Summerall.
And the winner of the 1968 Masters is Bob Goalby at 11 under par.